How do you spend your time in the quiet? What do you do when no one's watching, when you're bored, when you're alone? I recently graduated college last year and I started a 9 to 5 office job like instantly. And I was so busy assimilating to that lifestyle that was all consuming really. And on top of that job, which was 40, 50 hours a week for me, I had a girlfriend to please. And I would go out with the boys on the weekends. So I really didn't have a lot of time to be bored. And the world felt like so fucking loud. And I had to please everyone. So I just took a leap of faith for myself and I broke up with my chick. And I quit my job last week. And not because it was overwhelming, but because once I started getting in my rhythm and I started getting my routine down, once I really started assimilating, like the looming dread of conformity and the feeling that my dreams were dying was still present. It was still in the back of my head. And at first, I thought I hated my job because I didn't have any me time. But, the more really me time that I started finding in those early mornings or those late nights after work, the more I realized that no, it's not because I feel overwhelmed. It's because I felt like a fucking sellout. I felt like I felt like I was renting my soul for a paycheck. I was trading my time, my energy for just pats on the back from like my parents, my peers, from the world really, for likes on LinkedIn. And I stopped creating shit. And I genuinely missed that. I missed making stuff. And just sitting down with like a thought for like an hour, just trying to articulate it and dissect it in a poetic way. Like I missed just writing and reading and thinking. Like, sounds corny, but I didn't have time for that stuff, And now that I have all this time, like at first, again, it felt like I had to assimilate to the boredom, to the quiet with no job, with no chick. I had seemingly endless time. And at first, all I would do was just doom scroll and consume. I had a mindless task for 8 hours a day, which was my job. So, like, I assimilated to that, and once I quit, I would do mindless shit again. Like, I wouldn't create. I was so bored, I literally thought about selling out again, and I started applying to jobs. But then something clicked and I realized that I was actually free to do whatever the fuck I wanted. Like I can drive a few hours north, camp out for a few days. I can go snowboarding if I wanted to on a Wednesday. I can take a one-way flight to Thailand. I can day drink on a Tuesday. I don't have to submit to authority, or I don't have others to please. And yeah, I was quiet, but I finally started to create again. Music suddenly became worth listening to. Like I would lay on my floor, pop my headphones in, max volume, and like listen to new shit. I haven't done that since fucking high school. The little things and the tiny micro interactions like became much more valuable to me, and like my thoughts are more coherent than ever. And you don't have to be like an unemployed single loser like me. Like how you spend your time and you're quiet determines how you view all of your time in the noise. For instance, if all you do is doom scroll and see a tunnel vision reality through your phone, through social media, whatever, then that's how you're going to see the world. If you, in your quiet boredom, doom scroll and that's it, then when you go to your job or you go to the bar, then you're going to fucking think that the world works the way it does online. But if instead that you sit down with your thoughts and then you start to appreciate these little interactions and you let yourself be bored, you let yourself sit in that loneliness, that quiet, then you'll be more present and you'll be more patient with the world. So you really have to ask yourself, how do you spend time in the quiet? What do you do when you're bored? because that's where real productivity is. That's where you learn how to be a human being. It's not in those office jobs or when you're going out. Your productivity comes when you're like hammering down everything, all the thoughts that you're putting off. And you do that when you're bored. You do that when it's quiet. That's why when you lay down at night, if you have all those thoughts running through your head, that's what you missed. You know? So put yourself in positions of boredom, of quiet, of loneliness. And then reflect on how you spend that time, because it's a really valuable time.